My beloved child, there is a reason this moment feels different from all the moments that came before it. Something about this time feels quieter, deeper, almost as if something unseen has gently shifted. If you felt drawn here without fully understanding why, do not ignore that feeling now. There is something already moving around your future, something subtle, something you cannot fully see yet, but it has already begun. Before this day even started, before you reached this exact second, a thought about you entered someone's heart with unusual strength. It was not random. It was not casual. It was not something that appeared and disappeared like a passing idea. It stayed. It returned again and again. It deepened quietly. And even now, while you are listening, that feeling is still growing somewhere beyond your sight. Do not turn away from this moment, because something meaningful is waiting for you. There is a person who has reached a point where imagining tomorrow no longer feels complete without placing you somewhere inside it. What surprises them the most is how quickly that change became impossible to ignore. At first, they tried to explain it in simple ways. They told themselves it was just curiosity. Then they called it admiration. After that, they convinced themselves they were only noticing small details. But the truth slowly became harder to hide. Every small detail about you started forming a larger meaning in their mind. The way you speak stays with them. The way you pause before answering makes them think. The way your presence leaves a quiet impression, even after you are gone, does not fade easily. These things did not pass through them without leaving something behind, and what you may not realize is that one specific moment changed everything for them. It could have been something you said. It could have been something you did. It might have even been a silence you carried without knowing. Whatever it was, it stayed in their memory in a way that surprised them. Since that moment, they have been comparing ordinary days to that one quiet memory. Stay with this, because what is hidden behind this feeling matters more than you think. They are not just wondering how you are doing. They are wondering what life would look like if your days and their days began moving in the same direction. This thought did not come lightly. It came after hesitation. It came after questions they asked themselves in silence. They tried to slow it down. They tried to dismiss it. But instead of fading, the feeling became clearer. What makes this different is that they are not only feeling emotionally, they are thinking carefully, quietly, seriously. They are noticing how your presence creates a kind of calm where they usually feel restless. They are noticing how even small memories involving you seem brighter than many larger moments from before. There are people who pass through someone's attention for a short time. And then there are rare people whose presence begins to influence future decisions before anything is spoken out loud. You are becoming that rare presence in someone's mind. That is why they have been quieter at certain moments, not because nothing is happening, but because something is happening inside them. In those quiet spaces, they are measuring possibilities. They are asking questions they never expected to ask so soon. They wonder if this feeling is real. They wonder if you are not just temporary. They wonder if this has arrived for a reason they should not ignore. Even though they have not said these things directly, their actions have already begun to show them. They may check for your presence more often. They may remember details you mentioned without thinking. They may return to conversations with you long after they have ended. This is not accidental. Something inside them has started giving meaning to you. The reason this feeling is growing stronger is because they sense something rare around you. It is something difficult to explain, but impossible for them to overlook. There is a calm strength in you. There is a sincerity they do not often find. There is a quiet depth that does not demand attention, but naturally holds it. What they feel is not only based on attraction, it is built on something deeper. It is built on the possibility that this could last beyond temporary moments, beyond changing moods, beyond passing interest. That is why thoughts of the future appeared sooner than they expected. Sometimes the heart recognizes something stable before the mind finds the words for it. That is what is happening here. Even now, while they may still seem unsure on the outside, inside they are closer to understanding than you realize. There is also something they have not told anyone. They have imagined speaking openly to you. They have imagined what it would feel like to express everything honestly. But each time they imagine it, they hesitate. Not because the feeling is weak, but because it has become important enough that they do not want to handle it carelessly. They wonder if they should speak now, or wait longer, or protect the feeling until they understand it more clearly. Recently, something happened that made everything stronger. It may have been distance. It may have been a moment of silence. It may have been a short absence. During that time, they realized how much your presence mattered. Sometimes people understand value when something becomes quiet. That silence made them aware that your presence had already become meaningful. This realization changed something inside them. The feeling is no longer simple. It carries weight now. It carries possibility. And once possibility enters the heart, the future begins to feel personal. That is why the idea of building something real has appeared sooner than expected. Not because everything is decided, but because something inside them no longer wants to treat this lightly. While you are still wondering who could be thinking about you in this way, someone has already begun changing how they see their own future, because you entered it. Your name crosses their mind at unexpected times. A simple task becomes interrupted by a thought of you. A quiet evening becomes longer because a memory connected to you appears without warning. Even when they try to focus on other things, something gently brings them back to the same question. Why does this feel different? They have tried to explain it logically, but not every important feeling can be explained right away. Some feelings arrive with certainty first, and understanding comes later. At first, they believed it was temporary, but it remained. It stayed through busy days, it stayed through distractions, it stayed through distance. And that is when they realized it had depth. Now they find themselves asking a different question. Would the future feel complete without you in it? That question has stayed with them. They have also noticed something deeper about you. Not just how you appear or how you speak, but how you carry yourself through uncertainty. There is something steady about you. Even in silence, there is a quiet strength that remains. That steadiness stayed with them. Now a new thought has formed. Maybe this connection came for a reason. Maybe it is not something they should ignore. Because of that, they are becoming more serious. Something inside them is shifting. They are no longer asking if you are memorable. They already know that you are. Now they are asking if they are ready to move closer to what they feel before time changes things. This is the stage where someone begins protecting a feeling before they reveal it. That is why their words may still sound normal, even though their heart is becoming stronger. They may speak calmly, but later they think about every word. They may appear patient, but inside they are watching every small sign. They may stay silent, but silence does not mean absence. Sometimes silence means care. There is also another reason this feeling has grown so quickly. They have already seen enough to believe that you are not ordinary in their story. Not because everything is perfect, but because something about you creates a sense of certainty that is rare. They have even imagined what it would feel like if someone else reached your heart before they found the courage to speak. That thought unsettled them more than they expected. It showed them something important. The idea of losing the possibility of you feels heavier than they wanted to admit. Because of that, they notice small things more deeply now. Your tone, your attention, your silence, your expressions. Everything carries meaning to them. There are moments when your smallest response affects their mood, moments when a simple interaction stays with them for hours. This does not happen without a reason. The heart does not return to someone this often without something deeper behind it. There is something else they have not fully admitted, even to themselves. They trust how they feel around you more than they trust many things they hear from others. That trust did not appear suddenly. It formed quietly. It grew when they realized that your presence does not create confusion inside them. Instead, it creates calm, attention, and a quiet curiosity about what comes next. And that is where everything is slowly leading. Not to something rushed, not to something forced, but to something that is growing carefully, quietly, and with meaning. Something that, if given the right moment, may finally be spoken out loud. And that desire is the reason they no longer see you only in the present moment. Their thoughts are slowly moving beyond today, beyond simple conversation, beyond brief moments of contact that come and go. They are beginning to ask what remains if time continues moving forward and this feeling continues growing. They are not rushing toward an answer, but they are moving closer to it with quiet attention. Something important changed inside them. They feel that your arrival in their life happened at the exact moment they were finally ready to feel something real. Before this, they may have ignored similar feelings. Before this, they may have walked away too quickly from something that could have grown. Before this, they may have protected themselves so carefully that nothing was allowed to stay long enough to matter. But now something is different. Now they are not stepping away. Now they are standing still. They are watching this feeling instead of running from it. And when someone stops running from what they feel, everything begins to shift. This is why the next phase may feel unexpected. Because what has been quiet for so long cannot stay quiet forever. Something is moving closer. Something thoughtful. Something sincere. The person who has been thinking about you this deeply is now closer to clarity than they were before. What they are holding back now is no longer confusion. It is a decision slowly forming in the background of their daily life. Each ordinary moment is adding something to that decision. Every day makes it harder for them to pretend that what they feel is small or temporary. Some feelings can be ignored for a while, but some return stronger every time silence tries to cover them. This has become that kind of feeling. Recently, a quiet realization reached them. Your presence has started shaping how they imagine peace. Not excitement alone, not short moments of happiness, but a deeper kind of calm. The kind of calm that only appears when someone begins to matter in a lasting way. This realization surprised them. It may have happened when they were alone. It may have come during a simple memory connected to you. It may have appeared in an ordinary moment that suddenly felt different. And once that realization formed, they understood something clearly. This is no longer only emotion. This is something meaningful. They have also tested themselves in silence. They have tried to go through time without thinking about you. But it does not last. Your presence returns to their thoughts. Your words return. Even unfinished conversations return with quiet weight. That repetition has become impossible for them to ignore. Something else has also begun to happen. They are starting to notice how naturally you fit into plans they never used to share with anyone. Plans about time, plans about stability, plans about growth. This does not happen when someone remains ordinary. It happens when someone begins to take a place that cannot easily be replaced. Their heart is moving faster than their words, and there is a reason for that. They are afraid of timing, but they are even more afraid of waiting too long. Because somewhere inside, they understand that some connections become fragile if they are left untouched for too long. This awareness has made them more alert. They watch more carefully now. They notice your responses. They notice your tone. They notice when your attention feels warm and when it feels distant. They are not trying to control anything. They are trying to understand if what they feel inside has a path to become real. At the same time, something else is changing quietly. Hope has started to replace caution. And because of that, even small signs from you feel important. A short reply can stay with them. A simple smile can shift their mood. A small detail you remember can mean more than it seems. When someone carries a growing feeling, even the smallest moments begin to hold meaning. There is also a memory they return to more often than they admit. A moment where you were completely natural, completely yourself, not trying to impress anyone. That moment stayed with them because it showed something real. It showed authenticity. And authenticity creates attachment in a way that perfection never can. That is why they are not only thinking about how you appear, they are thinking about how your presence changes ordinary moments. Recently, they noticed something that unsettled them. Even when they are surrounded by many people, a single thought connected to you becomes stronger than everything else. This surprised them. They did not expect your presence to grow stronger instead of fading. But it did not fade. It became deeper. Because of that, the idea of a future no longer feels unrealistic to them. It feels possible. The reason behind their growing feeling is not speed. It is recognition. They recognize something rare in how naturally you stay in their mind. There is no struggle, no forced explanation, no confusion. Only a steady sense that your presence has changed something quietly important. Now they are beginning to wonder how long they should keep this hidden. The question returns again and again. They think about speaking more openly. They think about moving closer. They think about revealing what has been growing in silence. Each time they ask themselves, the answer becomes clearer. At the same time, there is something they fear losing, the simplicity that currently exists between you. Sometimes, when feelings become deep, people hesitate because they do not want to change what already feels meaningful. That is why their silence may seem calm, even though inside everything feels active. But silence cannot hold truth forever, especially when each day adds more feeling, more memory, more meaning. Even they understand now that what they feel is no longer temporary. Your presence has become consistent in their thoughts. Not occasional, not random, but steady. And when something becomes steady, the future begins to form naturally. Soon, what has remained unspoken may begin to show itself through actions, through attention, through honesty that feels different from before, because sincere feelings always search for expression. The person who once questioned this feeling is now slowly reaching a point where they can no longer deny it. Even if nothing looks dramatic from the outside, something important is already taking shape inside their heart. They are quietly arranging a future in their mind, a future that includes you in ways they never expected at the beginning. And the more they think about it, the harder it becomes for them to imagine stepping away from it. There are moments they never mention, moments when they suddenly stop and realize that your presence has returned again without warning. A memory appears. A sentence you once spoke becomes clear again. Even your silence carries meaning. What surprises them is not that they think about you, it is how naturally those thoughts appear during serious moments, during quiet moments, during times when they are thinking about what truly matters in life. This shows them something important. Your place in their heart is no longer accidental. It has become connected to how they understand emotional certainty. Recently, they asked themselves a question that changed everything. They wondered if they would be ready to stop hesitating if the chance to build something meaningful appeared. That question stayed with them, and every time it returned, the answer became stronger. Because each honest reflection brought them back to the same truth. Your presence creates a sense of steadiness that they do not easily find. Not loud excitement, not temporary fascination, but something deeper, something that remains even through distance. That is why the thought of a future no longer feels sudden. It feels earned through many quiet moments. There was also a moment when they imagined what would happen if you slowly moved away without ever knowing how they truly feel. That thought brought a heaviness they could not ignore. It showed them something clearly. Losing the chance with you would hurt more than they expected. That realization became a turning point. Since then, their attention has changed. They listen more carefully. They watch more closely. They think more deeply. Every small sign matters because they understand that important things often begin quietly. There is another truth they may never say directly. They admire how naturally you remain yourself. In a world where many people try to be something else, they see something genuine in you. That genuine quality has become one of the strongest reasons their feelings continue to grow. It is not only what you say, it is how your presence leaves a sense of peace behind. And that peace is something they cannot forget. Because peace is rare, they no longer treat this lightly. They have also imagined conversations that have not yet happened. Conversations where they speak openly, without holding back. But each time they imagine it, they pause. They want the moment to feel right. They do not want it to feel rushed. They do not want it to feel uncertain. That carefulness shows how much this matters to them. Sometimes people protect something because they know it deserves the right moment. That is where they are now. Their heart is already ahead. Their words are slowly catching up. And with each passing day, they are moving closer to expressing what they have been holding inside. Not suddenly, not loudly, but in a way that feels real. Because what they feel is not just affection. It is something they believe could last. Something steady, something meaningful, something they are no longer willing to ignore.